Hi. ACT Standard 1 focuses on content knowledge and how candidates are able to demonstrate the knowledge necessary to use, create, assess, and manage theoretical and practical applications of educational technologies and processes. In EdTech 511, I used an interactive courseware development tool to create a self-paced clinical readiness course. I'm going to use this course to demonstrate my understanding of Standard 1. I created this course using Muzzy Lane interactive courseware development software and a small website. I'm using this to demonstrate my knowledge of Standard 1. The course is on ABG interpretation. The homepage of the website gives you a brief overview of the course. The lesson materials that are provided on the website and built into the interactive courseware also were created for this course. They're available on the website for download and in the software. When you enter the software, the first activity puts the student in a somewhat realistic environment, being quizzed by instructors, potential employers about their knowledge of ABG interpretation. All of the study materials are available there, and all of the answers that are chosen come with more information about how to interpret the gas. There's information built in if you give the correct answer. There's coaching built in if you give the wrong answer, and it can be gone through multiple times. The skills check portion is fairly straightforward. You're given ABG results, and then the student can work through the sliders to line up all the correct words to form a complete interpretation of the ABGs that they're given. Skill building at the end, you take it a step further and you answer questions from your peers. Maybe they need help interpreting a gas. Maybe they need to know what you would do for the patient. This also has coaching built into it, and it can be done over and over again. Results can be used for self-assessment or given to the instructor to ask for maybe some remediation in an area that they're having trouble with. Hi. ACT Standard 2 focuses on content pedagogy and how candidates develop as reflective practitioners able to demonstrate effective implementation of educational technologies and processes based on contemporary content and pedagogy. I had so much fun designing and coding this virtual field trip. I created the website and implemented discussion boards, learning materials in multiple formats, outside resources, and a project to improve student engagement. The welcome page has some information about Budapest, videos, and instructions for how to participate in the virtual field trip. Each page has information, pictures, links to external sources, and questions, and a reminder to keep the final project in mind. The final project has the student using PictoChart to create a travel poster based on what they've learned about the location. Next step is a mobile learning project. I was able to transform what is traditionally a written assignment into one that students can do on their phones with an area for submissions, then use the class discussion board for collaboration. To increase engagement, I added points that could be earned and spent on things like deciding where to get takeout during labs or getting out of cleaning lab equipment. The response that I've gotten to this assignment has encouraged me to seek out more ways to move assignments and tasks to mobile devices and work in some gamification when practical. Lastly, for Standard 2 is a course comparison that I did. I modified an existing course evaluation framework and evaluated both online courses. Performing this evaluation and reflecting on the results showed me how easy it is to evaluate things based on my background, skills, abilities, and knowledge without considering how functional it would be for others. Using this framework forced me to look at things that I may not have looked for without it. Hi. ACT Standard 3 focuses on learning environments and how candidates facilitate learning by creating, using, evaluating, and managing effective learning environments. I created this tutorial for educators, however, it would be just as useful for students that are creating presentations. Since I was creating a multimedia lesson, I decided to brush up on Meyer's multimedia learning theory before I started. I realized that if I was going over it again, a refresher for everyone would be a useful tutorial. While creating a presentation on multimedia learning theory, I utilized the principles in selecting delivery methods and slide designs. In this way, learning about making a better presentation is reinforced by the use of Meyer's best practices in the tutorial. During my time in the EdTech program, I created and delivered a 10-minute lesson on patient education to a group of educators. This is the handout that accompanied the lesson. I focused on the effects of low health literacy and overcoming barriers to learning in a diverse population. Cultural and language barriers can both make it difficult to educate a patient that cannot understand you or has reasons to not accept education from you. I emphasize the importance of teaching our students to provide education in a way that the patient can relate to and stepping aside and allowing someone else to try if they're not successful. Presenting this artifact to other educators and the questions that followed underscored the need for more focus on teacher education on this topic. In performing the instructional design analysis for new hire onboarding on respiratory therapy equipment setup and cleaning, I used interviews and surveys to obtain the data that I needed to design an effective training and competency maintenance program. I interviewed department leadership to determine what goals were and team leaders to see what they thought was most important from the perspective of someone who is still on the floors. To determine learner needs and backgrounds, a survey was distributed to the 20 most recent hires. This data guided my design process. Hi. ACT Standard 4 focuses on professional knowledge and skills and how candidates can design, develop, implement, and evaluate technology-rich learning environments, all within a supportive community of practice. During EdTech 503, 3 other students and I collaborated to create a voice thread discussion on instructional design issues that arose in a variety of scenarios from the textbook. We evaluated the stakeholders, designers, interactions, and design plans for these scenarios to determine what went wrong and what potential solutions there were. Then we presented them, created questions for the class to discuss, and guided the discussions. The next 2 artifacts demonstrated ways in which technology could be added to a field that is traditionally classroom bound in my area. The first is a web quest where the student uses internet and intranet resources to create a therapist-driven protocol for APRV, an advanced mode of mechanical ventilation. This is a lesson that can be completed entirely online as part of an online course or as an online assignment within a face-to-face course and can easily be adapted to assign different ventilation modes and other modalities to different students. Tasks such as this one add valuable experience in understanding an advanced mode while also learning skills that can be an asset in getting jobs and promotions within the field. Next is a mobile learning page. For this artifact, I moved a handwritten clinical assignment online and added some gamification. Students will be able to use the form with voice to text from their mobile devices to submit medications that are affecting their patient's respiratory status, along with the mechanism of action, all while still at their clinical site. Later, an online discussion board will be used to collaborate with the class on the rest of the assignment. To increase engagement, points will be awarded that can be used for fun things throughout the course. Feedback from area RT instructors and students has encouraged me to lead other instructors and programs in the area towards integrating more online learning opportunities. ACT Standard 5 focuses on research and how candidates explore, synthesize, and apply methods of inquiry to enhance learning and improve performance. In EdTech 504, I created an annotated bibliography demonstrating the progression from the work of John Dewey to service learning and on to e-service learning. I'm going to use this bibliography to demonstrate my understanding of Standard 5. In EdTech 504, I created an annotated bibliography for a paper called Experiential Learning in an Online Environment, A Path Towards E-Service Learning. I'm sharing this here for Standard 5 because it demonstrates my understanding of the importance of research and continued research in education and advancing theories into practice. In this bibliography, I was able to create a chronology outlining the path from Dewey and his thoughts on experiential learning, or progressive learning as he called it, through a century of research and changes in theory to what is now called e-service learning, which is the application of service learning in an online environment. It brings experiential learning to an online environment where students are able to go out and perform work that benefits others, benefits the community, and also results in learning.